Silence is not simply the absence of sound. For the human mind, silence represents a lack of external reference points, a moment where the environment stops offering clear signals and attention naturally turns inward. When stimulation decreases, the mind does not slow down. It becomes more noticeable. The processes that usually remain hidden behind noise begin to surface without resistance. The brain is built to operate continuously. It predicts, evaluates, and adjusts even when no conscious effort is involved. This activity does not pause in quiet environments. Instead, it redirects. Without external input to organize attention, internal processes take precedence. Thoughts become more defined, sensations become clearer, the flow of awareness shifts. In everyday life, sound functions as structure. Voices, movement, and ambient noise create a steady framework that guides attention outward. These signals provide rhythm and orientation. When they disappear, the mind loses familiar anchors. In their absence, the internal landscape becomes more visible. This is why silence often feels uncomfortable. Without distractions, the mind fills the space with content of its own. Memories appear without invitation, anticipations form without intention. Attention moves inward, encountering thoughts that were already present but previously ignored. Silence does not create mental activity, it reveals it. The thoughts that emerge were already operating beneath the surface, filtered out by constant stimulation. When the noise fades, observation becomes possible. Many people expect silence to feel calming. Instead, it frequently produces restlessness. This response is not a malfunction, it is an adaptive pattern. Throughout human history, silence could signal uncertainty. The absence of sound required vigilance. Awareness increased when external cues diminished. That response remains embedded in the nervous system. In quiet spaces, subtle changes gain importance. Small shifts in light, minor environmental variations. The mind scans for meaning even when none is required. Time also behaves differently in silence. Without events to divide it, time loses structure. Moments stretch or compress. Waiting becomes an experience rather than a background condition. Attention has fewer places to go. In silence, the mind encounters itself without interruption. Thoughts unfold fully. One idea leads to another. A memory triggers an emotional response. An emotion generates a physical sensation. These sequences occur without external cause. This exposure can feel intense. The mind is accustomed to constant movement between stimuli. When forced into stillness, its habits become visible, patterns repeat, certain thoughts return consistently. The absence of distraction makes repetition obvious. Silence allows these patterns to be observed, not because the mind changes, but because interference is reduced. Observation becomes possible without effort. The body becomes more present in silence as well. Without competing sensory input, internal sensations become clearer. Breathing becomes noticeable. Muscle tension reveals itself. The rhythm of the body enters awareness. Silence amplifies perception by subtraction. It does not add information. It removes interference. What remains is what was already there. This is why silence is often avoided unconsciously. Background noise is introduced, screens are activated, stimulation is maintained even when unnecessary. Not out of need, but out of habit. The mind adapts quickly to constant input. When that input stops, discomfort appears, not because something is wrong, but because the system is unused to pause. Silence does not demand interpretation. It offers no conclusions. It simply exposes mental activity in its natural state. Attempts to control thought in silence often increase disturbance. Trying to suppress thoughts creates more activity. Resistance amplifies the very process it seeks to stop. Observation functions differently. Allowing thoughts to appear and disappear without engagement alters the relationship with them. They become events rather than instructions. Movement continues, but identification weakens. In silence, this form of observation becomes clearer. Attention is not pulled outward. It can remain present without fixation. Over time, a shift occurs. The initial discomfort softens. The nervous system adapts. Silence no longer signals uncertainty. Stillness becomes familiar. At this stage, silence feels less like emptiness and more like space. A space where awareness is not constantly redirected. The external world does not disappear. Sound returns, activity resumes, but the internal reference point has shifted. The mind, once observed in silence, no longer feels entirely automatic. Silence does not transform the mind. It reveals its movement. It allows activity to be seen without distortion. No dramatic insight appears. No sudden clarity arrives. The change is gradual, subtle, almost imperceptible. Silence offers no answers. Its value lies in observation, in allowing mental processes to unfold without interruption. Within that quiet observation, the relationship with thought slowly reorganizes. Not through force, not through control, through sustained attention. Silence does not stop the mind, it makes it visible.